In this video, we're discussing the domain of a function, the set of all allowed inputs. I will discuss a little bit about range as well, like on this example. We'll do range. But in general, the video is more focused on the domain of a function. So the domain is the collection or set of all the inputs you're using for a particular function. So I have this function f here. This is a function because every input has exactly one output. Sure, two different inputs have the same output, but we don't care about that when we're talking about a function. So what is the domain? It's the collection of all the inputs we're using. In this case, we can actually list them all out. 3, 7, 11, and 17. It's the domain of this function f. When it's the range, we can also, in this particular case, list out all the outputs we're using. So we have two different inputs that both go to 2. Do we have to list 2 down here twice? No, if it's in the range, it's in the range. We don't have to list it twice. The possible outputs we could use are 2, 4, 6. Domain's the set of all the inputs. Range is the set of all the outputs. Okay, what if we have a graph? And we have this graph here. Let's name it G. The collection of all the inputs, all the x values, is the domain. The collection of all the y values is the range. Now, we can't possibly list out all the inputs here. Every single number in between -4 and 7 gets used. When x equals 1.5, say right here, there's a y value. When x equals pi, 3.14, 159, and so forth, there's a y value. There are an infinite number of elements in the domain here, so we can't list them all. I can't use those little curly braces I did a minute ago. I have to do intervals here. So the domain is the list of all the x values. We're looking horizontally here. I'm using all of these x values. Domain is x values. Range will be y values. When we're talking about intervals, we always go smaller to larger. The smallest x value I use is -4. The largest is 7. And I use everything in between. Every one of these x values has some graph above or below. Okay, do I actually use the -4? Yes, I have a solid dot here. So I get a square bracket on the -4. Do I actually use the 7? No, I have an open circle here. Open circle goes with the parenthesis. Okay. What about range? Again, we can give range here. We can just look at the picture. Now we're looking at y values. Let's use a different color. Y values. Which y values am I using? I'm using all of these up to, say, 6 right there. Some of these y values get used more than once. Don't care. Some of these y values have this funky open circle over on the side. Don't really care about that. I'm using all of these y values from here to here. That's my range. So we're going to write this as an interval, smaller, comma, larger. What's the smallest y value I use? How low do I go? I start down here. This is y equals 0. Do I actually use 0? Yeah, right here, that point. All the way up to 6. I'm using all of these y values. Am I actually using 6? Yeah, even though it's not highlighted, there's a solid dot right there. All of these points on the graph are solid dots. We just don't emphasize it. We only really have to emphasize at the endpoints. That's why we have a big old solid dot here and an open circle here. All the little dots here are, in fact, big giant solid dots. So I do use the y value of 6. So my range is all numbers between 0 and 6. Square brackets on both, since I have a solid dot here at 0 and a solid dot here at 6. domain, and range.